what I do insist on is that we maintain a proper perspective and that we do not provide a victory to these terrorist networks by overinflating.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. We were going to bring you Mitt Romney, who, of course, dropped out of the race last week and talked about a younger, less-known candidate coming to the fore. And we're going to ask our next guest about that to start with. Steve Forbes, the one and only chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media and former GOP presidential candidate. Hello, Steve.
How are you?
Good. Always great to talk to you. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did indeed. I've never seen a game like it. And if I was president, I'd be offering witness protection to the coach of the Seattle Seahawks after poor Pete Carroll after what happened. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was inexplicable. I mean, I don't know how you explain that.
Well, who knows
bizarre.
what the real story is, but here he's done great things with that team. They came from behind an amazing victory over the Packers, and then they come to this, and they're ready to pull it off, and then, boom, he goes from a hero to GOAT in a matter of seconds. Just shows how
very easy to
fame
happen
can
in
be.
sports. Yep, very easy to happen in sports and very easy to happen in politics, as you well know. Not that it happened to you, but as you well know, being around the scene. Let's talk about Mitt Romney dropping out or closing the door, but leaving it open just a little bit. Were you surprised, and who do you think this helps or hurts?
Well, I was surprised at the timing of it. I thought he would be testing the waters a little longer, even though the reception to him was pretty rough on him. And who does it help? It helps, I think, Jeb Bush, because donors will now go to him, who might have stayed on the sidelines or split their resources between Governor Romney and Governor Bush. It gives Governor Christie of New Jersey a new opening. He's been scrambling to get things ready for a run. So on that side, those two are helped. But it also, I think, underscores that people are willing to look at a fresh face. And one of them, for example, is Governor Walker of Wisconsin. Everyone is keenly interested to learn more about him. And it also, I think, opens the field up to others, whether it's Rick Perry, who ran 4 years ago, or Governor Jindal, not to mention Senators Rand and Cruz, and others.
Rubio.
It opens, the field is much more open now. Governor Huckabee has indicated he's going to make a run for it. So it shows that this thing is not solidified yet.
Yeah, and with all those names that you went through, and you didn't mention all of them, do you believe that this is...
20 more.
Right. So is this going to be a good thing for the Republicans, or too crowded a field that will result in too much backbiting and infighting?
I think it'll be good. A lot of candidates won't take the full plunge because you have to put together resources, you have to put together a ground game, and you have to have a very bold and Reagan-esque message. And so I think that's going to winnow the field substantially in the next 6 months. And then we're going to see what events unfold. You know, the foreign situation is not good, so I think that's going to have an enormous impact on what people are going to be looking for in a candidate. We have to remember Ronald Reagan, the greatest president, one of the greatest presidents in American history. The events of the late 1970s enabled him to win, even though he was perceived by the popular media in the day as, you know, out of touch, old, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't a very favorable media he had, but the circumstances, people said, by golly, we're willing to go with him because what we're doing now is not working and it's harmful to the country and to the world. We're in a similar situation today.
Yeah, and I could see all that working against Hillary. You think so?
Yes. She, as much as she wants not to be part of the old regime, she served it for 4 years.
She is.
And obviously, even though she's hinted she may not have liked everything the current president did, She didn't exactly step out and say, this is wrong and I'm going to make a break with you.
No, she didn't.
She's going to be challenged. If Elizabeth Warren runs, that's going to be a real challenge for Hillary Clinton.
All right, you wrote a great piece about Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that's a very important topic. We're going to address it when we come back. More with Steve Forbes. Stay where you are, folks.
The White House is furious at Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu, and also a little bit angry at Speaker Boehner for inviting Netanyahu to speak before Congress to a joint meeting of Congress without even consulting the administration. Protocol would dictate that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, rejoining us now is Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Forbes Media and former GOP presidential candidate Steve Forbes. And Steve, you wrote a great piece at Forbes.com, Why Netanyahu, the Churchill of Our Time, must speak before Congress. I'm convinced that, first of all, they despise Netanyahu, but I'm convinced that they're afraid he is going to show them up and just lay out on the line everything we need to hear about Iran, and they're going to sit there, humming.
Well, that's right, and that's why they're doing everything they can to keep him away, doing everything they can to defeat him in Israel. They've sent ground forces, people who've worked with the administration, their electoral efforts in the past to try to defeat Netanyahu. And they don't want, as you say, Congress to hear the truth about what is happening with Iran. This President Obama, wants to do a Chamberlain-Munich-style agreement with Iran, which would in effect allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. In the U.S., a lot of Democrats and Republicans, as well as Republicans, know this is fundamentally dangerous for the security of the United States, a threat to the very existence of Israel. It'll allow proliferation of nuclear weapons, including into the hands of terrorists. And an agreement as important as this, it must be approved by the U.S. Congress. Obama thinks he can do it by executive order. When John Kennedy, 50 years ago, negotiated the test ban treaty with the Soviet Union, it went before the Senate as prescribed by the Constitution. So President Obama wants to skirt the Constitution, undermine the security of the United States by, in effect, winking and nodding, and allow Iran to get closer to making a bomb. Nothing's being done to stop them from creating ballistic missiles, which will reach Israel, Europe, and ultimately the United States. So an issue this fundamentally important, it is vital that Prime Minister Netanyahu address Congress and ultimately the American people, because this president does not get it.
Now, you call him the Church, or at least the headline calls him the Churchill of our time, and it's related in the story. Do you say that because you just referred to Obama as Neville Chamberlain and the kind of deal he wants to do with Iran, Munich-like, or on his own, do you believe Netanyahu stands in that category?
Well, Netanyahu has been sounding the alarm about Iran for several years. Iran is terrorism central for the world. It finances Hamas, finances Hezbollah, finances a lot of other groups. It's been behind the horrible events unfolding in Syria. It has taken over a chunk of Iraq and has made using Iraq as a highway to Syria. So he's been talking about this threat, and he was ready 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, to take action against Iran's nuclear programs. And the United States put severe pressure on Israel to desist. So Israel desisted, and how did the administration respond? By entering negotiations, which will be giving Iran, in effect, the green light. Iran is not allowing inspectors in the way it should. There are no real safeguards, and so the administration keeps making concessions. Obama wants to surrender, but Iran's not letting him.
Yeah. It's funny because it's so serious and so scary. There's nobody in the world. There's nobody he'd rather embrace than the Ayatollahs of Iran who want to destroy us and destroy Israel. It's frightening. Stephen, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you, and keep up the good fight.
Thank you. Will do. You too. Steve Forbes, ladies and gentlemen. I love speaking to Steve. He's right on, and he's right on about it. We didn't even get into economic policy, which we certainly could have, and there's nobody better at it than Steve Forbes. His idea for the flat tax and so many other great ideas that he expressed not only in his campaign, but before and after, or should I say since his campaign, also right on target. All right, folks, we'll come back. It's, well, you know what's next. It's Give Me Five time, and it's only here, straight ahead, on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television. Don't go away.